Bueno, gente, a ver, en el vídeo anterior hubo un problema. No me acordé de que la Play solo graba 2 horas y me puse ahí a hablar con gente y me va total. Que se perdió gran parte de la grabación. Bueno, tampoco os habéis perdido gran cosa porque... Nada, alguna pista de alguno y tal, pero lo importante está, ¿vale? En lo del vídeo anterior, el de una rata en el hospital, lo importante está. Y ahora, ¿qué me ha pasado? Que había llegado ya a Whitechapel y... porque toca el acto 3 del capítulo 2, Chantaje en Whitechapel, y resulta que se me ha cerrado la aplicación, eso que se te pone azul y se te jode la grabación del vídeo, lo que había grabado se pierde, a tomar por culo la bicicleta. Pero vamos, no pasa nada, lo único que he hecho es cruzar el puente, coger un callejón para adelante y llegar hasta el escondite. Sí, he hablado con un par de tipos y he tenido que matar a un par de cazadores y tal, pero bueno, nada importante de pelo grullo, ¿vale? Así que... vamos al lío. Y me voy a poner un temporizador en el móvil, tío, para que no duren los vídeos más de una hora. Porque esto yo creo que grababa 2, pero no estoy seguro. Entonces, con que los vídeos sean de una hora y poco, ya van a ir bien. Y si tengo que separar algún acto en 2 partes porque no de tiempo, pues se separa en 2 partes. Para que así tampoco se os hagan los vídeos muy largos, gente, ¿vale? Mil gracias a los que ya estáis suscritos al canal. Y mil gracias a los que os iréis suscribiendo. Suscribiros, tío, que es gratis. Tíos, tías, tíes, todos, todas, todes. Gratis. Gratis. Vale, pues estamos aquí en el escondite y lo que sí voy a hacer es voy a buscar banco de trabajo. A ver si me puedo mejorar el garrote que llevo. Esto no sé si reciclar o dejármelo para vender, que es que no sé, como no estoy matando a los ciudadanos normales y tal y cual, pues... guau. ¿Qué necesito? Pieza de empuñadura corriente, voy a tener que comprarla. Ah, pero aquí ¿por qué me ha dejado? Aquí ¿por qué me ha dejado? Pieza de empuñadura corriente, pues cuanto pueda la compro para ponerle alguna más. Vale, es que no me quiero poner armas a 2 manos todavía. Ahora no he salido por donde no es, tío, ahora se va a cargar. Buah. Bueno. Que los tiempos de carga algunos son brutales, tío. No, tampoco es tanto, un minutillo lo que dura más, pero se hace eterno. El estado de distrito es grave, ¿vale? Así que voy a tener que empezar... Aquí siempre hay ratas, ¿vale? Para...
I can't believe I'm doing this.
Despicable.
I have this thirst for blood. This is despicable.
This is despicable. Tengo que buscar piezas de empuñadura corriente. A ver si le puedo comprar. Aquí a mi prima.
Good evening, my dear colleague.
I'd like to see what kind of medicine you're selling.
Esta no tiene, pero había otro por ahí delante que sí que puede que tenga. Tengo que buscar gente para curar. A ver, ¿cómo está mi primo?
Good evening, Benjamin. Can I help? You don't seem well,
Revisión médica.
Benjamin. Do you need any help?
I always feel ill, sir. It's like I'm never right.
Tratamiento para la migraña no tengo.
I will see you later. A gun, alcohol, and a bad temper make...
Voy a tener que bajar el escondite otra vez. Da igual, entre por arriba, entre por abajo. Cuando entras al escondite siempre hay tiempo de carga. Tenía que haber mirado lo del remedio antes de salir, joder. Ah, bueno. Me tengo que acordar la próxima vez, entrar por arriba. Así no tengo que dar toda esta vuelta. Vale, a ver si tengo materiales para fabricar este, vale. Joder, pues tengo para la bronquitis, para la neumonía. Y tal, pero para la migraña todavía no lo puedo hacer. Vale. Tratamiento para el agotamiento si tengo. Tratamiento para el resfriado también. Venga. Vamos al lío. El estado del distrito está grave, Hay que mejorarlo un poquito, así menos peligroso para nosotros también, ¿sabes? Ya veis, cuando lo pones en difícil y encima pones todos los estados, todos los distritos en hostil, va. Es una barbaridad, pero un vídeo que he subido hablando de lo que pasa con John, con el Sean Hampton ese, si matas al Nittinger ese, que lo hice en contestación a un vídeo que puso uno que estaba mal, ¿no? Solo ni critico su canal, ni hostia, Robert, tiene cosas muy buenas el pavo, pero ese vídeo se ha equivocado. Ese vídeo sí que lo hice hace casi 2 años. Lo que pasa es que lo subí al canal mío, al privado, al personal, lo subí a este que no lo tenía subido. Y lo hice con el otro personaje, con el que estaba ya jugando a tope, claro, pues, ver la salud que llevo, la sangre y la energía y la en la hostia, ¿sabes? Este es un parguela comparado con el otro, porque lo que pasa es que como no voy a matar a gente...
Do you need assistance?
Please. Feeling tired these days.
There you go. Let's hope nobody steals it from you.
Very funny.
No, no voy a cautivar ni voy a... Esto sigue estando cerrado.
Goodbye, young man.
Adiós, muchacho. No, por aquí todavía no.
You're here.
Do you require a snot? Since I took an oath to help...
Well, seen better days.
Infecting you is probably the last thing on these people's minds. Take this, in any case.
What? You give me this for free? Don't have a clue about this place, do you?
I'm looking for Dorothy...
Dorothy?
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane. She's a nurse. What can you tell me about her?
Dorothy Crane, bless her soul. I really should thank her someday.
Has she treated you?
No. When I need a checkup, I'd go to a bloody doctor, not some back alley clinic full of sick foreigners.
You seem to have recovered well since your attack. Do you ever think about what happened to you?
Not much. It was a fucking nightmare. Savages, absolute bloody savages. Their appearance. Jesus. It made me want to puke.
You'd better not come back here. I won't be around next time to save you. What help could I possibly be to your business?
That's simple. I already get good money from all those fleeing the war. Can you imagine what they'd be willing to pay if I could offer medical assistance too?
Mr. Bates, do not make me regret saving your life in this quarantine zone.
I understand, Dr. Reed, you're from a good family. Don't want to get your hands dirty. That's fine. I'll be happy to act as your middleman.
If I were entering into the world of street medicine, it would be on my terms and without such dubious associates as yourself, Mr. Bates.
So it's a no then. That's too bad. The Reed tonic could have really helped people, you know, save lives. Isn't that what you do? I mean, people buy that Swambra shit.
It's unusual to see someone so happy around here, especially considering the current situation.
Why should I be sad now? There've always been wars, disease, tragedy. There always will be.
That's an unusual way of seeing things in these trying times.
I don't see why I should shed a tear for another man's woes. I'm healthy, and I intend to stay so.
What is your business exactly?
I offer fair lodgings for a modest price to the poor and weary of Whitechapel.
I see. And what about those who cannot pay?
Well, deals can be done, if you know what I mean. Money's not the only currency. After all, I'm not immune to a pretty face.
In other words, you take advantage of these poor lost souls.
Begging your pardon, I thought you was a man who could appreciate the complexity of the modern world. Things ain't just black and white, you know.
Tell me, what's your honest opinion of the increasing violence in London?
People are just beginning to discover what we've always known. This city's rotten to the core. They just took their bloody time to wake up and notice it.
What do you mean?
People are acting like the violence is news. But it's always been savage down here. It just bubbles to the surface every now and again.
I'm looking for Tell me truthfully, why are you so thankful?
By keeping my tenants alive, she's making me a rich man. Every month they live, it's more coin in my pocket.
Una nueva pista abierta, dice. Pero no está.
You seem to have
Not much.
You'd better not. What help could I
That's
miss if
so
Nada, pues no sé cuál es la pista que sale.
I'm looking for Dorothy Crane.
Bueno,
Goodbye, Mr. Bates.
por aquí había un tío que vendía cosas. Ah, estos son los de reclutamiento.
Welcome, sir. Please take a browse of my wares.
I am Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions, if you don't mind.
Doctor? Interesting. I'm Barrett Lewis. Usually I don't have time to waste with talk, but at this hour of the night I can hardly refuse.
Have you heard of a nurse called Dorothy Crane?
Nurse Crane. So the bitch really is a nurse, then? Always thought she was just some crafty foreigner, that one.
Yes. Those bloody immigrants should know their place, eh? How dare they do a better job than the lazy natives of this land?
Dorothy Crane ain't even a real name. Something like Dorothea Craniu. Something like that. Came to England fleeing the war, I was told.
That doesn't explain why she irritates you so much.
Your precious Nurse Crane gives away medical supplies and prescriptions for free. I offered to sell it for a fair cut, but no. Miss Crane wanted to play the quiet saint.
How is business around here?
Business? I have no business. Between this racket, theft, and customers getting scared, I'm losing money every day.
I see. Sounds like you blame someone in particular for your situation.
It's no secret Joe Peterson spends his time harassing merchants. But with me, he's trying to put me out of business once and for all.
As a merchant, you see Whitechapel every day. Have you noticed anything out of the ordinary recently?
What you mean, besides the epidemic, the war, and all the usual crap? As long as I can remember, this part of town has been a bottomless pit, and no sign of the bottom yet.
Violence is increasing in the borough.
Yeah. A few nights ago, some blokes jumped me. Came out of one of the condemned workshops. Fever, madness, something like that.
Where did this happen? Why did you go there?
In the closed workshops nearby. I worked there as an apprentice in better days. Now I only go to find trinkets or tools. Too bad I was mugged, though. There was good money in that little box of loot I lost.
Have you been hurt?
No, but that's only because I ran like hell. Those men were raving lunatics, I tell you. Not even able to speak anymore, just screaming.
Right then. Show me what you have.
Era una cosa que daba, cuando la reciclaba daba cosas interesantes, no me acuerdo. De momento voy a vender porque me hace falta. Ah, bueno, voy a mirar a ver si a este pavo hay que darle algo para curarlo.
Fancy
Do you need help, sir?
I only need you to purchase something from my shop, sir.
Vale.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis. Excuse me, sir. I have a few questions for you.
Another journalist? I didn't answer the first one, so piss off!
I'm not a journalist, I'm a doctor.
A doctor, you say? It's quite a rare breed in this part of town.
Really? But still, here I am. Dr. Jonathan Reed, at your service.
I'm Joe Peterson to some, but Colossus Joe to most. And I don't remember asking for your service, sir.
Can I offer you my medical expertise, Mr. Peterson?
The name is Colossus Joe. I don't get sick.
Have you heard of a nurse named Dorothy Crane? She's a colleague of mine, and is supposed to live around here.
Dorothy Crane? Yeah, I know her. One of the few good souls who dare to help the sick around here.
Could you please tell me more about her?
She's a nice girl. Tries to help the migrants. I offered to give her a hand, but she said my reputation would attract too much attention.
According to you, physicians are scarce in this part of town. Why is that?
Not familiar with this neighborhood, are you? I guess your fancy colleagues are too afraid of being stabbed in the back.
This part of town does have quite a reputation. Would you say it's justified?
Totally. Look at me, for instance. I always look my opponent in the eye before knocking him out.
May I ask what you do around here?
I do whatever I want, and sometimes even more. Now sod off.
Una lástima que en esta vuelta no vayamos a comer a nadie, pero es que da gusto matarlo por chulo.
How did you become the local bully everyone is afraid of, Joe?
There's no pride in roughing up poor bastards. But this is the only job I've found. And it pays well too.
A job? So you're racketeering for someone else?
I got enlisted by the Wet Boot Boys, a gang from the docks. I'm their muscle for their dirty work.
Most people don't become thugs when unemployed. This is a choice you made.
I don't care what you think, sir. I do what I have to do for my own reasons, and that's that.
I'm not sure Mr. Lewis would agree with your by all means necessary philosophy, sir.
Oh, do you really think he's the poor victim here? Barrett can be as sneaky as anyone. Long ago, I even called the bastard my best friend.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson.
Fancy buying something, sir?
You never... Joe Peterson. He's the villain here, isn't he? But you seem to know each other.
I've known Joe for years. I saw him box once or twice. He was a friend then. But these days, he's just another thug.
What can you tell me about Mr. Peterson? Besides his behavior toward you, obviously.
Colossus Joe was a decent boxer, good one even. But after his wife passed away, he found every excuse to stop training. Just wanted to pick fights with everyone.
Taking out your anger on others is nothing but cowardice. And Colossi are quite famous for tumbling down.
We've all had some rough times, ain't we? But most of us don't use our fists to see us through.
And no one has ever stood up to this thug.
Nobody will be fool enough to stand against the wet boot boy.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis. Hello, young man. I'm Dr. Reed, and I would like to ask you a few questions. May I enter, please?
Sorry, no, sir. My father does not like people entering our house, you see.
Your father is worried about you, boy. He asked me to look for you.
So my father actually worries about me then? Okay, then. Come on in. I'm a Harry, by the way. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
Una pena, tiene que mandarle
It's locked, all right.
a los pobres desgraciados. Yo tuve que matar al padre, me parece que fue para robarle la llave. Pero es que tengo que mandar porque no están matando
May I
viejazo.
ask you a few questions?
I'm not bothered. What could be worse?
Do you need any medical help, young man?
Yes, I do. feel so tired. I don't know if it's the epidemic, but everything seems so hard.
You'll feel better with this. But you need to get a grip, young man. Medication alone won't cure melancholia.
I'm not sure I'm happy with the idea of living long in a world like this. But I thank you for your concern, sir.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
Yes, I know her. She came here to examine me when I was very sick. She said I should go out more.
How do you feel?
I'm fine. I mean, it's not easy every day, but I'm fine. I'm just tired of being sick all the time. If only I could be tough now. Well, you know.
Speaking of which, what can you tell me about your father?
My father is an idiot who makes idiot things. That's all I have to say.
Forgive my bluntness, young man, but you don't seem happy living in Whitechapel.
Why should I? I never wanted to come here in the first place. My father's decision. And look around you. Does this look like a nice place to live?
I'm sure your father did his best when he found this house. Times are tough for everyone, young man.
That's exactly what my father says. Harry, you should be grateful for what you've got. But I wasn't even consulted when we moved here.
If life here is so terrible for you, why don't you just leave this place? Have you ever spoken to your father about it?
I don't go outside. It terrifies me so. I went outside once without my father noticing and I saw terrible things. Bloody and frightening things.
So that's why you stay at home all day? For fear of the epidemic?
I'm not afraid of disease or death, Dr. Reed. It's the living I'm afraid of.
Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself. So, may I ask you a few questions? Goodbye, young man. Take care of yourself.
Is there only pain and suffering?
Vale, de esto me acuerdo. Ahora me tengo que ir por ahí detrás a algún sitio. Vamos a poner la oreja, ¿no? Sí.
So you only hurt people because you care about me? Is that it?
Don't be such a brat. I do what I must to provide us with food and medicine, that's all.
Mum would never have let you bully an old friend like Mr. Lewis. Shame on you.
Harry, I'm your father and I love you. But don't you ever speak to me like that again.
What? You're gonna beat me too?
Jesus. Give me patience.
Vamos a hablar primero con él.
You again? What?
Why is your relationship with your son so difficult?
Harry and I are so different. Sometimes I wonder if he's my own blood. Seems he's ashamed to be my son.
Why not change that then? If you used your strength to do good, perhaps Harry wouldn't feel that way about you.
How dare you tell me what I should or shouldn't do with my boy? Who the fuck are you to interfere like that?
I mean no harm to your family. But if you want my advice, this is no place to raise a child.
No matter where we live, Harry will always be sick and frail. At least here, I'm respected. And no one will ever dare touch him.
Harry doesn't seem happy living in Whitechapel. Why did you make him come here?
I've always put my son's interests above everything else, whatever he may think. Our house is small but affordable. The walls are thin, but the door is solid.
You really love your son, don't you, Mr. Peterson?
He's my pride and joy. Even if he hates me for the choices I make and pushes me buttons more than he should.
Do you have any regrets?
Only one. Not to have my beloved wife by my side. She died when Harry was little. My sweet Jane. She gave the boy confidence.
Since the criminal nature of your job means you could be arrested, are you not afraid of what would happen to your boy if you were?
No one will ever take my son away from me. If that ever occurred, I'd hunt the bastard down and rip off his head with my bare hands.
Goodbye, Mr. Peterson. Good evening, Harry. May I come in?
Sure. Sure. Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
So, may I ask you a few questions?
I'm not...
You and your father have a difficult relationship, Harry. Tell me, did he ever hurt you?
No, never. My father can be brutal and rude, violent even, but he never touched an hair on my head.
What is going on between you two then?
It's his job, if you can call it a job. He bullies people. Men and women we know, like poor Mr. Lewis. It's just not right.
Your father and Mr. Lewis used to be good friends. What happened, Harry?
I was young then. I don't remember Mr. Lewis ever coming back again after my mother died. Or was it after my father started bullying him? I don't know.
Have you tried speaking to Mr. Lewis about it?
I don't go out often, but yes. And he scolded me and told me to leave him alone. I guess my father frightens him too much.
But you are not responsible for your father's actions.
Am I not? Dad always says that he joined that gang for my safety. So if I wasn't born, people wouldn't be worrying about Colossus Joe.
Goodbye, young man.
Even my dreams are soaked with gloom.
Fancy buying something, sir?
What do you know of Harry Peterson? The boy seems so fragile. Not like his father at all.
Harry's a good boy, but he spends most of his time complaining. He's had it tough, all right, but he needs to grow a pair.
What troubles him exactly?
But despite being his father's son, almost everything, I think. He never wanted to come to Whitechapel in the first place. Hates this place more than most of us.
Goodbye for now, Mr. Lewis.
Maybe a bottle, and Don't be shy, handsome. What can Christina do for you?
I'm not looking for what you're selling. But I'd like to ask you a few questions, if I may. I'm a doctor. Dr. Reed.
All right then, but be quick. Though I usually get paid when I open my mouth.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? Anything you can tell me about her would be helpful.
I don't know her, but I know her name is Dorothea Crăciunescu. She came from Romania like me and many others.
You seem to respect her.
Dorothea helps the sick people of Whitechapel. Everyone should respect that.
Christina, have you been examined? The epidemic is spreading fast in London, and you could be exposed, or expose others.
I don't like doctors or hospitals, but I don't like you asking questions.
Considering your line of work, I assure you it is only a matter of time before you have health issues.
If it is going to happen, it will happen. Right now, I need money. That's what's important.
You can put your own life in danger, that's your decision. But what about your clients? If you're contaminated, you will put them in danger too.
And you think that would worry me? If you knew the men I deal with, their health would not be what you'd worry about.
Tell me about yourself.
Are you joking with me? People don't usually come to see me for conversation.
I have no interest in your work. I am, however, curious as to what led you into this career.
Short story. The war, exile, and England. This country is not especially welcoming. I've been refused many jobs because of where I am from. I had few options left.
Many people must deal with poverty, but not all choose to sell their bodies. That was your decision.
And when exactly was the last time you looked for a job? Or worried about the rent, or what, or when you were going to eat?
Do you need any assistance, Miss Popper?
It depends on the price of your medicine.
I will see you later.
Vale, necesito fabricar más
Goodbye,
tratamientos para el
Take care of
agotamiento.
yourself as best you can.
Vale. ¿Cómo está el estado del...? Sigue estando grave, mira que ya ha curado gente. Oh, el cura.
Forgive my interruption.
Do not apologize, my son. Father Tobias Whitaker is always happy to teach mortals about the incoming Armageddon.
I am Dr. Jonathan Reed, and I just have a few questions.
A scientist? You are much more lost.
Do you know Nurse Dorothy Crane from the Pembroke Hospital? I'd like to know more about her.
I don't like the liberal ideas of nurses, but I especially abhor that Nurse Crane you mentioned.
So, you're not exactly a fan of Florence Nightingale's work. But nurses are essential for modern healthcare.
Nuns should be the only women allowed to take care of male patients. It's obvious only they have the necessary moral fiber.
Why do you hate Nurse Crane more than other nurses?
Before coming to London, she was a member of the communist resistance in our country. That's what happens when you let a woman get involved in politics.
Joder. ¿Veis? Estoy hablando con toda esta gente antes de hacer la misión principal para cuando... porque pasan cosas. Para tener todas las opciones posibles, a ver si la puedo dejar intacta. Vale, solo por eso.
What do you mean? you say that I am more lost.
All scientists are entangled in a world of causes and consequences. And most of them can't see the plain truth.
Quite a judgmental opinion, if you ask me. But what do I know? Blinded by science as I am.
But you are seeking answers, aren't you? Answers about the Armageddon about to strike the city. Answers about the hidden truth.
I am. But the answers I seek are based on facts, not superstition. What do you mean when you say
you are...
Vamos a escuchar la
Well,
parrafada
I
de este.
suppose
Venga.
I can spare a few minutes listening to your so-called truth.
As a doctor, you must be aware of the decimating epidemic. But let me tell you that this so-called Spanish flu is just the beginning of the end.
What do you mean?
The beast is finally revealing itself, corrupting the flesh and the heart of men. With my own eyes I have seen them, those minions from the abyss.
Really? And what would be your answer to this biblical threat?
We must fight the disease before this legion outnumbers us. But not with scalpels and microscopes. No.
What is left then?
Cleansing fire.
Tell me, Tobias, what exactly is your plan concerning the cleansing of this city?
God will recognize his own. More than once this city has risen from the ashes, hardened and purified by the flames.
Purification by fire has proved useful, but where do you stop? Burn the clothes? The buildings? The corpses? Worse?
Your lack of faith is predictable. But my task is to convince rational minds like yours to see the light. This is God's will.
You're mad and dangerous. You're nothing but a soulless butcher. A small-time Torquemada. The Savonarola of Whitechapel.
My son, if you think salvation is a free gift, go listen to the lies of that pompous fool, Joseph.
Joseph, a fool?
Vicar Larrabee of St. Mary's Church. While he continues preaching his fraudulent redemption, more and more people die in the streets.
Do you know...
I don't...
Vale.
I have heard enough for tonight. Goodbye.
Sí, porque vaya tela como está mi primo. Se hace una de puta. Hijo de Perkins, me ha pillado. Cuarentena por la influenza.
Oh, Camellia, the silent flower of Whitechapel. An angel made flesh, I tell you.
Good evening, sir. I'm Dr. Reed. I would like to ask you a few questions.
Please be my guest. Although I may not be the best informant regarding this part of town, my words speak about that which the eyes cannot see.
Really? Are you an artist of some kind?
I'm a poet, sir. Richard Nethercott, at your service.
Are you aware that your life could be in danger in this pub?
But this is where I must be to feel the real beat of the city.
I understand your need for solitude, but it's not safe around here.
I don't care. I don't have many friends, Doctor, and my family despises me.
If some misfortune came upon you, who would be here to help you?
Well, you for a start, my dear Doctor.
May I ask what you're doing at this hour of night, sir? Do you live here?
Not at all. I'm just enjoying the pleasure of a quiet walk. Though night talks are always preferable, if you ask me. Especially with strangers.
But are you not afraid of the epidemic?
Oh, why should I? I see some equity in the Spanish flu. No flesh should be saved, say the scriptures. Good or evil, rich or poor, all are equal in the eyes of the flu.
If you say so. But as a physician in a time of epidemic, I must caution you to avoid unnecessary exposure, sir.
Thank you, Doctor. But we both know the seeker of truth has to go boldly where the weak dare not.
What are your thoughts on the terrible situation in this city?
Terrible, you say? No. Of course, the death of so many innocents is a tragedy. But the scourge has not been all bad for the city. Oh, no, sir.
What are you talking about?
Do you remember London before the flu? Noisy, cacophonic, quiet nowhere to be found. And now, listen to this oddly peaceful silence.
Peaceful? That's quite an unusual way to speak about the epidemic. And very inappropriate, I must say.
Most people fail to understand my perspective. I don't blame them. But how could I call myself a poet if I veiled my feelings?
Tell me, Mr. Nethercott, why seek inspiration in Whitechapel?
The place is not beautiful per se, but how to explain it? Stirring and challenging.
Do you not think it a little morbid?
On the contrary, sir. Whitechapel is full of life, full of beauty. Just like my dear muse, the wonderful Camellia.
What can you tell me about Camellia?
Not much. And that's the beauty of it. She can't speak, you know. She's a locked mystery who exhales kindness and sweetness.
Perhaps you're just afraid to find out the truth about your muse.
One day, perhaps, I'll ask her to come with me. But will she still be my wild flower of Whitechapel if she moves uptown?
And have you ever tried to learn more about her? Where she lives? how she survives, whom she may know.
Maybe I prefer she remains an enigma. Reality can be so dull, don't you think?
In what way, exactly?
The struggle by gaslight, the barren smiles and the added hunger under the rain.
If you say so.
Such vibrant antagonism and vivid paradox. The stripped humanity raged across each street.
Vivid, of course, yes. And what about the poignant distress?
Oh yes, the poignant distress. You see what I mean, don't you? That's what I want to write about, and that's what Whitechapel is made of.
I'll leave you alone, sir.
Vale, gente, pues lo vamos a dejar aquí.
Oh, Camellia, the silent flower of Whitechapel, an angel made flesh, I tell you. Morbidity, its own beauty and grace.
Vale, gente, daré vosotros la pausa, ¿vale? Y ya la leéis. Es que son muchísimas. Vamos a dejar aquí, lo que no sé si cuando volvamos me soltará aquí o me soltará en el escondite, pero bueno, da igual. Ya vengo, vuelvo y termino de hablar con este, que me ha abierto otra pista, creo. Venga, gente, pues hasta el próximo. Adiós.